Oh, God, the wheels are falling off the wagon. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 342 of Cocktails in the War Room. Oh, wait, what the hell is going on with my hair? I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room. Welcome back to the War Room after a couple of weeks off. I apologize for that. Hi, how are you? For anybody that's new to the War Room, if you're just showing up, if I'm just showing up on your Instagram or Facebook, Twitch or YouTube algorithms, we get together every Tuesday night to, basically just hang out. We drink together. We tell stories together. It's like an Ask Me Anything, and we've been doing it now for 6 years. As of this weekend, on Saturday, will be the official 6-year anniversary of Cocktails in the War Room. We started it March 14th of 2020 during the pandemic. We did 80 shows in a row before we turned Cocktails in the War Room into the weekly show, the weekly mess that it is now. And so this is our 6th anniversary week, which is just insane. It's nuts that it's been that long. And I apologize for being gone the last couple of weeks. I'll tell you the stories about what's going on, but I want to say what's up to Alexis and Carol. Also, Jessica and Sherry and Ash and Lou. What's up, Travis? Double horns. Jessica, Brett, he says, finally. Yes, I know. Donna and Kim, Mr. Cole is here. Lou on Instagram. Crew Cortera on Instagram as well. Let's see. Will is here. Tracy. So a couple weeks ago, I was in Vegas at a rock radio convention. My hair is doing all kinds of weird things that I go to every year. And I brought some pictures to show you guys some of the bands that I met and to tell you some of the stories. And then last week, there was a massive Facebook outage, and it didn't affect everybody's profiles, but it affected mine. So I couldn't log into my Facebook, the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Facebook group. I couldn't log into the Mistress Carrie page. I couldn't do anything. And some people were like, well, just do it on YouTube or whatever. We have not gotten to the point where I can exclusively go on one platform. So there are some people that watch it exclusively on Facebook that wouldn't know it was on YouTube. I couldn't post on Facebook to tell people watch on YouTube. It was just a disaster. So I was like, you know what? Let's just punt for another week and then we'll figure it out. Now, to anybody that's new to the War Room, we have co-hosts here in the War Room with me. One of my co-hosts, this is Friday. Wednesday, the Goth Pug is... Wednesday, come here. Come over here and say hi to everybody. There she is. You can find her on Instagram, Wednesday, the Goth Pug on Instagram. Friday shares her page. Friday has not yet graduated to having her own Instagram. But last week, as we were trying to get the show up and running, these guys came in and jumped on the green couch because they knew it was Tuesday. And when we weren't doing the show, they were like, Mom, like, what the hell is going on? It's Tuesday. This is when we go in the War Room. And we didn't. So it screwed the dogs up as well. So I apologize for being gone the last couple of weeks. The Vegas convention that I went to is called #Happens. It's like a rock radio convention. I go every year. And it's basically the rock and metal kind of community. So it's the radio stations, it's the record labels, it's the managers, it's bands, it's the DJs. It's kind of everybody getting together. The record labels kind of let us know what's coming. And then they have panel discussions. They have acoustic performances. So I got to see the Aranda guys. Damien Aranda was just on the podcast a few weeks ago. Those guys played acoustic. I saw the guys from Magnolia Park. That's who's here. I saw Mike Ness from Social D and Matt Pinfield. Both of these guys like could have died. Mike Ness from Social D had cancer, got treated for it. Matt Pinfield like had a stroke, and the two of them were there because Social D is getting ready to release their first album in 15 years. So they were there. I met the one and only Linda Perry, who you know from Four Non Blondes, but what you might not know is that she is not a one-hit wonder by any stretch of the imagination. Linda Perry, for decades now, has been writing and producing other artists, and she has written some of the biggest pop hits for other people, like Beautiful for Christina Aguilera, which she performed acoustic solo, which was amazing. So getting to hear her kind of talk about, she's coming out with a solo album this year, and she is also reuniting Four Non Blondes, not only to do festival appearances this year, but Four Non Blondes is coming out with a new record this year. So she was there kind of talking about all of that. I met the guys in Lady from Lilac, and then Brent Smith and Zach Myers from Shinedown were there. And I got to hear some of the new songs off of the Shinedown record that's not coming out until the end of May. There's one song on there that's called Machine Gun that Brent Smith and Eric Bass, the bass player and producer of the record, sat down and they were talking about, and you guys know because Eric Bass was on the podcast, so you know his dad was in the Navy, but also, or the Air Force. Fuck, now I'm trying to remember. Besides the point, Eric's grandfather fought in World War II, and so did Brent Smith's. And when they both started talking about their grandfather's experience in World War II, they started writing this song called Machine Gun. And as Brent was talking about it at this convention, he was kind of up on a stage in front of all of the radio people. He started like tearing up about it because it was then that he and Eric kind of realized that their grandfathers had this similar experience, even though they didn't know each other, they didn't serve in the same place. But part of it and part of the lyric is like, I should be holding you, but instead I'm holding a machine gun. And it's kind of like, you know, the letter that the grandfather was writing home to the grandmother. And so as Brent, who just lost his mom in January, was kind of talking about his grandparents, he got really teared up. So the new Shinedown record is going to have 18 songs. It's basically a double album without calling it a double album. And that was just one of the songs that I got to hear off of the record. So when I was in Vegas, I got really sick when I came home. It started hitting me like this late Thursday night. And then I went to the convention on Friday and I took the red eye back Friday night. And Friday afternoon, I really didn't feel good. And I went and laid down for a while Friday afternoon. It was 82 degrees, which is unseasonably warm for Vegas at that time. So Mr. C and I went out to the pool deck and we basically laid down in the sun because we had just left the blizzard here. My flight got canceled twice. I was delayed getting out to Vegas in the first place. And so we went and took a nap by the pool because we were taking the red eye back, and I just did not feel good. I was laying in like 82 degree weather and I was cold and I was like, oh, this is not good. So I took the red eye back. Of course, I get back and it's freezing and there's snow everywhere. I got home and I stayed in bed all day Saturday. I stayed in bed most of Sunday, was back on the air on Sunday, and then obviously back on the air on Monday. When I tried to get the War Room on Tuesday, not only was Facebook out, but I was sick that entire week. Now, one of the other people that I got to meet there was Kurt Deimer, who has his new horror comedy movie, Scared to Death, coming out this Friday, and his new album coming out in May. And I interviewed him for episode 300 of the podcast, which we'll talk about in a minute. And one of the first things I asked him was, did you get sick in Vegas too? It took me over a week. For me, the sickness was congestion and fatigue and achiness. My whole body hurt and I was exhausted and I could not breathe. And it was more than a week. I have napped every day. I have been hydrating. I don't know what the hell I caught in Vegas. Could have been anything, but I felt absolutely horrible. So, that's why it's been a couple of weeks. So happy 6th anniversary, because our 6th anniversary is technically on Saturday. I apologize that we're not having an event. It was something that I tried to put together. I thought I found a venue. It didn't work out, and I wasn't going to just throw something together at the last minute. So Bish says, Carrie, get the same flu as Mr. C from Vegas. So Mr. C, when he went to Vegas a few weeks before me for a different convention, he came home, he had fever, he had nausea, he lost his appetite. His was way worse. He was down for the count for like 3.5 days, almost 4 days. Mine wasn't that bad. I was just really tired and I couldn't breathe. And then my voice started to get hoarse, but like I didn't have a fever really. Like I was just exhausted. It was unbelievable. I didn't lose my appetite. It was just unbelievable, like the little energy that I had. And I was like doing radio shows and like napping for like 20 minutes in between radio shows, just like laying down, trying to like build up my energy to do the next radio show because I didn't want to take more time off because I had taken off like almost that whole week to go to Vegas, to the point where one of my radio stations, my boss called me and he was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he said, "Because you said the wrong radio station on the air." And I was like, oh, I just was so, my head, it just felt like a balloon. And I was like, dazed and confused and congested. And I was so fatigued that I just couldn't think straight. And I didn't have it as bad as Mr. C, but I was definitely not at my best. It was brutal. I feel so much better now, but I'm still catching up on all of the stuff that I missed. Not only from being in Vegas, but also from doing the bare minimum for so many days just to be able to keep myself on the air because I felt like such crap. So all the extra stuff that I wanted to do, you know, the extra energy to try and find a venue for an anniversary party, like it just wasn't going to happen. And for the Backstage Pass holders, that's why we didn't have a Backstage Pass like private live stream yet, because I was laid out. It was brutal. I wasn't posting on social media as much. Like I just wasn't doing anything. Even the dogs were like, "Ma, are you going to get off the couch? Are you going to get out of bed?" They liked the snuggling, especially when it was cold, but it was, yeah, the Vegas crud, Mr. Cole, is, yeah. A fallen tragedy on Instagram says it's the government doing it to us. I swear it is. I don't know if it was the government, but there's a lot, like when's the last time you saw somebody sanitizing the buttons on a slot machine or like elevator buttons? Like there's a lot of things, or like the escalator handle at the airport. Like you try not to touch stuff, and I'm not Howie Mandel, like I'm not a super germaphobe, but it's kind of impossible to go to a place like Las Vegas where there's just so many people and so many surfaces. And I was in clubs with people that flew in from all around the country. And it's just inevitable. And I really tried like hydrating, although one night I did stay up till almost 5 a.m. So that didn't help my cause either. So, yeah, it was kind of brutal. Rob says, looking great though, rock on. Had that in Boston about a month ago. Same shit. It was crazy. Yeah, I feel a lot better. And with this nice weather, I've been purposefully like going outside and making sure I've been in the sun. I've been walking and like trying to get my exercise regimen back up after kind of falling off the wagon the last couple of weeks between traveling and then being like laid out. But Donna says, would you say you were down with the sickness? Oh, I was down with the sickness, Donna, for sure. Did Wednesday and Friday nurse you back to health? Yes, they have been. I swear these guys know when I don't feel well because they get extra. Pugs are snuggly anyway, let's be honest, but they were extra super snuggly. So yes, they definitely helped. Christopher says, I'm glad you're feeling better. Jason says, sounds like COVID. I don't know if it was. I did not test for it. I just stayed in bed, but I have not tested positive for COVID yet. I haven't had it as far as I know. Is it possible that I had it and wasn't symptomatic during the height of the pandemic? Maybe. But I have famously gotten a cold when the temperatures change. Like I always get a cold in the fall and I always get a cold in the spring. I don't know if I sped it up, the spring cold, because I went to Vegas and it was so, like normally Vegas is in the 60s when I'm there, which still is super warm coming from Boston in February, but it was 82 degrees, which is very unseasonably warm. And like most of the like rooftop pool decks and stuff, they didn't even have like the bars around the pool staffed because usually there's nobody in the pool. But you could tell all the people that came from cold places because all of their pale bodies were sunbathing on the roof decks and they were the ones that were swimming in the pools. Then there's the people that came from like, you know, Texas and Florida and California where they were like, no, that water is still too cold in the pool. And everybody else was like, bitch, please. Like fully came from a blizzard. That's really warm. So, yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, but the last couple of weeks have been pretty brutal with, you know, when I go to this convention, I go out, like I had planned on having an extra day at the beginning of the trip. I was going to go out, my husband and I, we were going to go and try and get last minute tickets to a show. We were going to go out for a fancy dinner, all of that. My flight got canceled because of the blizzard. And so I ended up taking a different flight, arriving I had the hiccups, way later than I thought. We had coordinated flights to arrive and depart around the same time because he didn't fly from here. He ended up in Vegas for 12 hours, unsupervised. You know how that can be. So it was, oh my God, why do I have the hiccups? Sorry, let me drink. It'll make it better. Just the blizzard and then getting sick and taking the red eye back and all of it. Just the last couple of weeks have been just brutal. Getting sick nowadays, it's very different than when it was. Well, look, I got walking pneumonia when I was in college. Like I have been sick and I have always gotten like those seasonal like colds from like the mold in the spring when things are soaking wet because it's just starting to warm up and, you know, all of the snow is melting. Like I always get sick this time of year anyway, but the last couple of weeks have been like brutal. Tinfoil hat. I'm just reading the comments. That's all I'm saying. Christopher says, it's not the government. You got to go when it's 107 in August. Lou, I am all set with that. Like, growing up in the Northeast, we get below zero weather and we get 100-degree like heat waves. Like we endure like the temperature change from winter to summer. When I went to Rome last year with my husband, like it was 95 almost every day. I thought I was going to melt. As my dear mother would say, you're sweating like a whore in church. Like it was just hot. Anything over 85 degrees and my brain just starts to shut down. I don't know how desert people live in the desert. I am not one of those people. There are people that thrive in it. There are people that love it. I understand the lack of humidity is really good for people that have autoimmune diseases and people that have like arthritis and like stuff like that. I could not function in desert heat like that, the way that people that love the desert say, I couldn't deal with a blizzard with 3 feet of snow. Totally understand it. That's why we live where we live. But Carol says, I try to use my sleeve to touch the door handles and stuff. Yeah, look, you can try, but let's be honest. You have a couple of drinks in Vegas and then you're going to forget to use your sleeve on the doorknobs. Like even planes, like it's almost impossible to like, it's like, okay, yes, they give you the antibacterial wipe when you get on the plane and you wipe down the armrests and then you wipe down like the tray, right? And then you go to adjust the amount of air you want blowing on you and you forget to disinfect that and now you're sick. Like you're not going to avoid getting sick if you're going to travel. You're going to get in a tube with recycled air on the plane. You're going to go into hotels. You're going to eat at restaurants. You're going to walk through those casinos. You're going to stay up all night partying. It's just bound to happen. So Melissa says, you sanitize from the inside out. drink a fuck ton of alcohol. That was LB, our dear departed Lyndon Byers. He would barely ever get sick, and he swore by the fact that he just drank tequila and it killed everything, which is something that Kurt Deimer talked about on episode 300 of the podcast, talking about basically if you just pollute your body, nothing wants to live in there. And, sometimes that's not wrong. Bish says, Carrie, the same week you got sick, I fell on a run and sprained my wrist. We're falling apart. Fact. So those are just some of the people that I got to meet, some of the bands that I got to check out. There's some really, really great new music. I got to hear the new Everlast. Everlast is coming out with a new song this Friday. It's really, really good. I got to hear the new Pretty Reckless, which is coming very soon, like days away. So there's a lot of really, really great new music that's coming. For anybody that's finding me on the algorithm and finding the War Room for the first time, by the way, you got to let us know in the comments if you never hung out with us in the War Room before, so the War Room family can welcome you properly. So let us know in the comments that it's your first time and also where you're watching from. And a reminder of some of the places you can listen to me on the radio, because even though it's been almost 6 years since we started Cocktails in the War Room, people still ask me, where can I hear you on the radio? Where can I hear the podcast? Like, people ask me all the time. I would think by now, like, everybody would know, but that's not the case, not by a long shot. So you can hear me every weekday during the midday from 10 to 3 on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock. You could download the 98 Rock app or stream the station at my98rock.com. We do the 98 Rock Lunchbox every weekday at noon, and that's the lunch hour, but we change up the songs every day. So sometimes it's songs from the same year or era, or like the same theme, or we let somebody like take over the lunch hour. Like one day somebody wanted to hear all of the biggest rock songs from the year they graduated from high school. And so like, it just depends, but it changes up every day. So you can stream my98rock.com or just check out the 98 Rock app. Hello, Friday. You can hear me every weekday afternoon on 100 FM The Pike. You can go to pikefm.com and stream the station or download the free Pike app. And, actually, the Crows tickets were a couple weeks ago. I'm going to drink for that mistake. This week, I have Yacht Rock tickets to give away, and I also have another week's worth of text keywords to text in and qualify for a trip for two to Vegas to go and see Metallica at the Sphere. I was in Vegas the day that they announced the Sphere residency, and people were like freaking out. The Eagles were there when I was out there a couple weeks ago, and the Metallica Sphere residency went on sale this past Friday. It's just going to be nuts. I'm trying to get tickets for myself, and it's crazy. This just got announced, Military Appreciation Night. It's happening for the Worcester Railers next Friday, March 20th. I am going to be there to help host it. Free tickets are available for active military and veterans. So this is all with 100 FM The Pike. If you go to the concert and events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, not only is all of the information about Military Appreciation Night there, but the link for veterans and active military to click on and fill out the information to get your free tickets is there too. So if you want to go and see minor league hockey in Worcester at the DCU Center next Friday night, come and hang out with me. It's Military Appreciation Night, and it's pretty awesome. They get sponsors to basically pay for like thousands of tickets so that military and veterans can go with their families and stuff, which is pretty awesome. So that's happening next Friday. It's up in the events and concert calendar at mistresscarrie.com. You can hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on Portland's rock station, 106.3 The Bone. You can stream the station at 1063thebone.com or download the free Bone app. And just a little over a year ago, I took over mornings on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 in Springfield. Mornings with Mistress Carrie. Go to laser993.com or just download the free Laser app and you can stream the station that way. So Lou says the tequila burns the sickness right out of you. A Fallen Tragedy says, I am 207 days clean and sober. That is spectacular. Bish says, hiccups while drinking alcohol. Are you a Kennedy? No, I get the hiccups more when I don't drink alcohol, but I get the hiccups a lot for some reason, which is kind of weird. So, let's see. Shane says, listen, when I was a full-blown alcoholic, I never got sick. I'm 2.5 years sober, and I get sick with something almost every 3 months. Look, I'm not saying LB was a scientist, but I am saying that maybe LB was a scientist. There may have been something to it, is all I'm saying. What's up, Keith? David said, where did you stay? We love Aria. So this convention is actually down off of Fremont Street. Most of the rock clubs are down along Fremont Street. And so that's where the convention usually is down in that area. So some people stay at the Golden Nugget. Some people stay at Circa. Some people stay at the Downtown Grand. All of those are pretty, like Circa is one of the newer hotels. The Downtown Grand just built a new tower down there. But the hotel stays are usually a little less expensive along Fremont Street than they are along the actual Vegas Strip. And this convention really doesn't go to the Strip all that often. Usually it's all like the backstage. Billiards is one of the places that we go and see bands at during this convention. So normally we are just like kind of bar hopping down all the clubs on Fremont Street. However, we did go to one place that was not on the Strip, but not off of Fremont Street. We went to the Punk Rock Museum, which also has a little club and a bar in it. If you are a fan of punk rock music, the Punk Rock Museum in Vegas was great. Like, I put up a bunch of pictures of exhibits on the Mistress Carrie Facebook page and on Instagram. Really, really cool, like, memorabilia. They did a really good job. Like, punk rock music and the idea of having a museum, those two things could be kind of diametrically opposed. So they did a really good job of kind of keeping the punk aesthetic and attitude while still serving the purpose of a museum, which is to protect the history and the legacy of the art form. And I think it's really cool that the museum actually has like a functioning bar in it, which was badass. I saw Jacob Knoll, the lead singer of Sublime, the son of late singer Bradley Knoll. He did like an acoustic thing at the Punk Rock Museum. And that was kind of the only time we had to take a cab to kind of go off of Fremont Street. So that's where I was, just kind of running around Fremont Street the whole time. Let's see. Dream Killer Cosplay. What's going on Instagram? Checking in. Ginger flavored brandy. Okay, look, if that's a cough help, if that's a sickness thing, yeah. Mr. Cole says Railers on the 20th. Yeah, isn't that, hold on, I'm going to show you right here. Military Appreciation Night, March 20th. Right there. Free tickets for veterans and active military. So if you don't have them yet, go to the concert calendar. I put the link up there for you. There's like a form you have to fill out to be able to enter to get your free tickets if you're a veteran or military. Somebody commented on Facebook that they entered all of that stuff, but they didn't get a bounce back message yet. This is not something that I'm controlling, like the distribution of the tickets. I'm just letting you guys know that this is happening. So if you don't get notified, you still got like more than a week away. So if you don't get notified that you're getting tickets, like double check with them or try to enter again or whatever, or call customer service at the box office at the DCU Center. But they have a form right up there on the DCU Center website for you to be able to enter all of your information so that you can get those tickets. So let's see. Lou got Metallica Sphere tickets for October 29th and 31st. Halloween in Vegas at the Sphere with Metallica. Lou, if you don't mind talking about how much the tickets were, Because there were a lot of people that were talking about how expensive Sphere tickets are, which, look, it only holds 20,000 people, which when you're Metallica and you're used to selling out 70,000 seat stadiums, and it also, the upfront costs for a show at the Sphere are astronomical. It costs millions of dollars to program. It's 160,000 square feet of LED screen on the inside. Never mind the LED screen on the outside. And you have to kind of get the people to program those screens and set up the show. And Metallica is not doing the same show every night. They're doing no repeat weekends like they did with the M72 World Tour at Foxborough. So they're having to coordinate lights and visuals for twice as many songs as, say, the Eagles or No Doubt or U2 or who else is going in there? That the Backstreet Boys, I think, are going in there. Dead and Company was in there. So like Metallica is doing a thing where they're doing like two completely different shows every weekend. So the amount of programming. So yeah, these tickets are going to be, these Sphere tickets are never not going to be expensive. It's one of those things where it's like, is there a band that you are willing to kind of pay the price? If Metallica is your favorite band, then that's the band. Like for me, like I would love to see Tool there. I would love to see Metallica there. Like if David Gilmour decided, because it's not going to be Pink Floyd, but if David Gilmour decided he wanted to be inside the Sphere, like if Pink Floyd's your favorite band, that's the once in a lifetime opportunity for you. So, let's see. Sorry, I fell behind on the comments. Bish says, did you put it all on black in Vegas? No, but we did play some slots. And I also tried this crazy claw game where it was like one of those big giant claws. And if you won a bar, a gold bar. I tried that. I obviously didn't win, but I tried that. I did, however, kick my husband's ass in skee ball. The reigning family skee ball champion, the Wolfpack skee ball champion, is right here. Let's see. Travis says, I watched the Fat Wreck documentary. It was a great documentary about punk rock supported by that label. That's a really cool, I have not watched it, but it's on my list. Like, you guys know how much I love documentaries. And I want to watch that. Over the weekend, I watched Song Sung Blue, that new Kate Hudson movie about lightning and thunder, the Neil Diamond tribute, the Neil Diamond experience that was in Wisconsin. And spoiler alert, it's a true story. Spoiler alert, Eddie Vedder played with them on stage. Like they opened up for Pearl Jam. And that part of the story I did not know. I went back and found a documentary that the movie is based on called Song Sung Blue about lightning and thunder. And Lightning was he was a tunnel rat in Vietnam. And just always loved music. And this was his passion, was to pay tribute to Neil Diamond music. And the movie is great. Kate Hudson was fantastic. And it's a really, really good movie. It's available on demand. It's in the theaters. So if you want to watch that, there's a bunch of documentaries that are coming out. Music, they announced today, Bon Jovi is going to have a biopic. Universal got the rights to it. The Red Hot Chili Peppers documentary hits Netflix on the 20th. So that's next Friday. You guys just know how much I love the biopics and the documentaries when it comes to artists. So any chance that I get to, be able to watch that kind of stuff, I am totally in. All right, we haven't gotten together in the last few weeks, so we got a lot of podcasts to catch up on. So a few weeks ago, it was author Stephen Blush who wrote the book When Rock Met Hip Hop, analyzing everything from Aerosmith and Run DMC to Public Enemy and Anthrax and the Beastie Boys, the Judgment Night soundtrack. So that was a few weeks ago. Then 2 weeks ago was Damon Johnson from Brother Kane, who also is the guitar player in Lynyrd Skynyrd, who replaced Gary Rossington. He was touring with Lynyrd Skynyrd while Gary Rossington was alive, but when Gary passed away a few years back, Damon became the permanent replacement for Gary Rossington. But Magnolia Medicine is the new Brother Kane album. Brother Kane is back. They were one of my favorite bands in the 90s, so I was so excited to talk to them. If you missed this episode, it's a really, really good one. And then last week, episode 300 with Kurt Deimer, who I finally got to meet in Vegas. I'm playing the new music. The new single features Josh Todd from Buckcherry on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. But the movie that he stars in is called Scared to Death, and it's a horror comedy movie that comes out this Friday. So these all came out in the time that we have not gotten together for the War Room. So lots of podcasts to catch up on if you are behind. Mr. Cole says the resellers have them for $1,000 or more a piece for Edge seats in the Sphere for Metallica. That does not surprise me at all. That's right. Phish went in there, absolutely, into the Sphere. No Doubt is playing. Holy ticket prices. I checked. I wanted to see them before I die. Yeah, the Sphere is... They're building they're building a second Sphere in the United Arab Emirates. I believe it's going up in either Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And then they're building mini spheres. So the big Sphere, the original Sphere, holds like 20,000 people. The mini Sphere is going to hold like, I think, 7,500. And there's one going up in the National Harbor in Maryland because bands don't want to front the money to program the screens if the only place they can play is Vegas. But if there's spheres around the world and they can kind of do 20 days in Vegas and 20 days somewhere else and 10 days somewhere else, that's kind of one of the only things that's going to drive down the cost of the prices is if they can use the programmed visuals for more stuff. Like if you want to go see the Wizard of Oz in the Sphere, they spent like $45 million getting the movie to fit on the screen. And that costs like $150 to go and see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. There's also another documentary that they filmed with special cameras, just like kind of IMAX. They have cameras now that film for the Sphere screen. So I'm hoping eventually it becomes a little bit more affordable the more spheres they build. But the Sphere in Vegas cost $2.5 billion to build. So they're still trying to like recoup the construction costs as well. So I don't think we're going to live in a world where Sphere tickets are going to ever be the same as like going to the Palladium or the DCU Center or even the TD Garden or the Xfinity Center. Like I don't think we're going to get to that point. Ani Joan joining us in the War Room. She says, hi, everyone, from my house, like somewhere else in the house. Ani Joan is chiming in the War Room here. Jessica says, I love the crime documentaries. Meet me in Atlantic City this weekend, going for 3 days. Hell no. I am casinoed out for a while. There's a lot of shows that are headed to the casinos in Connecticut, and just recovering from being in Vegas, I'm good for a while. Alexis says, my husband never stands a chance against me when we go bowling, 23 years and he's never won. Yeah, my husband and I have gone back and forth when it comes to regular bowling, but candlepin bowling, him and the kids, they're just not good. Mini Sphere in Virginia. It's actually going in Maryland. It's going to be it's in the National Harbor, but it's going in like on the Maryland side, I believe. It's not Virginia, it's Maryland. Let's see. Mr. Mojo Ryzen on Facebook. What's going on? Let's see. Okay, so that's the podcast recap. Wait until you hear this week's podcast episode. So I have been waiting to get Nuno Betancourt from Extreme back on the podcast. He came on the first year during the height of the pandemic, and it's taken me almost 5 years to get him, 4.5 years to get him back on the show. And between the Ozzy and Sabbath Back to the Beginning final concert, between winning the Grammy with Youngblood, between Extreme working on a new record and going out on the road with Motley Crue, I figured this was the time. So Nuno and I sat down very late at night, like 2 a.m, and we talked for hours. We talked about the Grammys experience and what it was like to win a Grammy with Youngblood. He talked all about kind of the behind the scenes preparation of the Back to the Beginning final Sabbath and Ozzy show, the week of rehearsals leading up to it, how the songs got divvied out. There's a really funny story about Ron Wood from the Rolling Stones. So there's a lot of stuff about that in there. I also wanted to talk to him about the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny, not about the controversial part, but about what it's like, because Nuno was the guitar player for Rihanna when she did the Super Bowl halftime show a couple years ago. And I wanted Nuno's perspective on what it's like to be an artist performing at the Super Bowl during halftime, about like the production craziness, because I thought the production of Bad Bunny's halftime show was really interesting. Like the way that they kind of moved through a set and the way that the extras played a part in all of these different ways, and coordinating that many extras and all of that production in the time frame, the hard time frame you're given during the halftime of the Super Bowl. I wanted to know what that was like for Nuno. He talked all about that. He talked about writing the new Extreme record because those guys are finishing up a new album. He talked about going to Europe this summer with Def Leppard before they tour later this year in North America with Motley Crue. This is another really, really great podcast episode. He also talked a lot about guitar stuff, like nerdy Eddie Van Halen, like guitar tone, gear, kind of like, I always want to ask those questions because Nuno is, arguably, some people say the best living guitar player. Others say one of the best living guitar players. And he is looked at, which is why he got brought in to do all of that stuff during the Back to the Beginning concert, because he can kind of do it all. And so I always, for the guitar players, always try to ask enough nerdy guitar questions when I have Nuno on the show. So Nuno is back on the show. The episode goes live at midnight tonight. So there you go. Mr. Mojo Ryzen says Bad Bunny sucks. Well, it's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about, and we can skip ahead a little bit. Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show has now been seen by 4 billion people on the planet. It's the biggest audience, like it was the second biggest live audience, but it is now, because of the replays on all of the social media platforms and all that stuff, 4 billion people have watched it. Now, it doesn't have to be your thing, but you can't argue with success. Like, pretty significant. So it was something that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So a brand new episode of the podcast at midnight tonight with Nuno Bettencourt. If you subscribe to the podcast, a reminder, you get the weekly episodes every Wednesday, and then you get the sit rep Monday through Friday, rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates. It's around 5 minutes long. You get the mini sit reps on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 and on 106.3 The Bone, keeping you informed on kind of everything that's going on, whether it be streaming music or lawsuits or new albums or tour announcements or band breakups or just whatever it is. If you're trying to figure out where to listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast, all of these places and then some. The audio full-length episodes are on YouTube. It's part of the Pantheon Podcast Network, or you can just easily go to mistresscarrie.com and just listen to whatever episode you want. If you subscribe to the podcast, you are in one of these 149 countries. We have not been able to get to 150 countries yet, but we're trying. Donna says, hopefully a long one. It is a long podcast for sure. Lou says, Nuno is in my top 25 guitar guys. Yeah, he's amazing. Has Nuno ever mentioned Taylor Hawkins? I don't know if I asked him about Taylor Hawkins. I don't know if he's ever mentioned him, but let's see. Carrie, how long is the Nuno episode? It's 2 hours long. We haven't done a long episode in a while. We did a lot of long episodes during the pandemic because the bands had nothing else to do. But now bands are writing albums and touring and doing a ton of press. And so sometimes I get limited to a half hour, 45 minutes, or an hour or whatever. But it was the middle of the night. Nuno was doing nothing. And he was like, just fuck it. Let's just hang out and talk. So, and literally, fuck it. Like, I don't know how many times he says fuck. I told him the first time he came on, people were joking about how much he swears. And when Pat Badger has been on the show, he's joked about how much Nuno swears. Well, Nuno swears a lot in this episode as well. All right, if you're celebrating your birthday today, Ben from Breaking Benjamin, Tom Schultz from Boston, 2 Pearl Jam birthdays, former drummer Dave Krusen and Jeff Ament, both born on March 10th. And I realize that we are a few days early, but it is our birthday as well. And if today's your birthday, you also share it with Rick Rubin, Carrie Underwood, and Bad Bunny. So happy birthday. Happy unbirthday, Keith. Cheers to 6 years of Cocktails in the War Room. Even though it's a few days early, I wanted us to toast to the crazy land of misfit toys community that we've created here in the War Room over the last 6 years. So happy birthday to you. Let's see. Lou says he knows you, Carrie. Lou, who are you talking about? What did I miss? Carol says, where was he? Where was Nuno? He was home. He was at home in his house. So that's why he was like, I got nowhere to go. Let's just talk. I was like, okay, cool. Let's see. Or that are you talking about Nuno swearing all the time? My birthday was last week, says Louise. I went to Florida. Happy belated birthday to you, Louise. Denise says, my birthday was last Tuesday. I'm sorry we didn't get to toast you on your birthday, Denise. Happy belated birthday to you. Oh, yeah, Lou, he does know me. Yeah, we were actually joking about, he emailed me after and he was like, hey, when you produce the episode, like, did I say anything stupid? I'm too comfortable with you. Sometimes I forget you're recording me. So we'll see. Denise says, happy birthday, War Room. Eric says Nuno knew Rihanna before the halftime show. She has a rock album. Nuno was was her touring guitar player for a long time. Like, Nuno didn't just get brought in to do the Super Bowl. He actually had toured with Rihanna for a while. And like, when she got the Super Bowl, she asked Nuno to come back because he was her guitar player when he wasn't doing stuff with Extreme. So Nuno's one of those guys that kind of is the go-to like guitar god. When you need a guy to be able to kind of hold it down, you call Nuno. Let's see. Where does Nuno live? Oh, he lives in LA. He lives in Hollywood, up in the hills. Like, he's one of those guys. He moved to California because he does so much stuff outside of Extreme. He lives in California just because it's better for his career. But he's back here a lot, and obviously, and one of the things that we talked about as well is him being from the Azores, and then his family came to Massachusetts and was in Hudson, Mass. And so, yeah, his whole family's still around. They're all here. It's just because of the nature of his job, he lives in LA. Donna, yes, we did talk about my shared heritage and uncovering that I'm part Azorean. It's actually one of the first things I talked to Nuno about. So A, good memory, and B, yes. All right, so the rest of the music headline stuff that I wanted to talk about, we talked about Metallica at the Sphere. We talked about the Super Bowl. Live Nation and the Department of Justice settled a lawsuit that was brought by the Department of Justice for 40 states in the United States against Live Nation because of monopoly stuff, because of Ticketmaster and whatever. Concessions have been made. They're going to put a cap on fees. Live Nation has to sell a certain amount of venues. They cannot hold venues that they don't own and force them into long-term contracts to exclusively use Ticketmaster to give other other ticket agencies like Eventbrite the opportunity to be able to compete better. So there are a bunch of concessions that are supposed to benefit the artists, the venues that are not owned by Live Nation and Ticketmaster, and also that are supposed to knock the prices down on tickets. Whether or not ticket prices are going to come down because of this, I don't know. But that's why the DOJ dropped the lawsuit against Live Nation, because of the concessions. And this just happened yesterday. And the other thing that I didn't put up here is, in fact, Ozfest. Ozfest is coming back in 2027. They're going to do 2 shows at Villa Park in Birmingham, England. And then they're going to do 2 shows in North America. This is next year. If that's successful, and they have not decided what the North American location is going to be yet, then they will expand Ozfest in 2028 and make it more of a tour, or do what the Warped Tour is doing, which is set up for the weekend in like 5 different places, which is what they're doing this year for Warped Tour. So Lou says, so are we getting a check? Melissa says, are you okay? Are you talking to me, Melissa? I'm okay. Are you okay? Or are you not talking to me? Let's see. Yeah, Eric says Nuno is what Andrew Watt is now, everybody's favorite kind of music producer. Yeah, that Nuno is that guy when you need like a killer guitar player. Steve Vai is one of those guys. It actually came out today that Steve Vai with Travis Barker, Andrew Watt, and Josh Klinghoffer, the former guitarist from Red Hot Chili Peppers, they redid with some other artists Van Halen's Jump for Coca-Cola, because they're one of the big sponsors of the FIFA World Cup 2026. So Steve Vai, Travis Barker, the video came out, this just happened a few hours ago, that Steve Vai is tackling the solo in Jump from Van Halen, and they re-recorded Jump to be like the theme for Coca-Cola for the World Cup this year. So there are those guitar players that when they need a guy, there's a short list. Steve Vai, Nuno, like those are the guys they call. Let's see. Keith says, I am fine. Hasn't really slowed me down, but they decided to do it anyway. Wait, Keith, what are you talking about? What did I miss? What's going on with Keith? Is he like down for the count because he tried to put pants on? Keith, what happened? Oh, fractured my finger 4 weeks ago. Doctor said I got to be on light duty for another 4 weeks. So my work put me on short-term disability for 4 weeks. Yeah, there's really nothing you can do for like a broken finger, broken ribs, broken toes. There's certain things that when you break them, like you just gut it out and it sucks. So yeah, we're sending you love, Keith. Sorry that you're on a paid short-term disability vacation. Let's see. Steve Vai, one of the best. Yep, absolutely. Debbie says, saw all of the Ozfest shows in Mansfield. I'm hoping that's the venue they pick. I don't think it's going to be, but I don't know where. Sharon Osbourne was talking about on the Osbournes podcast with Jack Osbourne and said, and the next thing we need to do is we need to start coming up with a list of the newer bands that are going to be showcased on the Ozfest, because that was the whole reason why Ozzy wanted to do it, was to give a big platform to newer bands, which is pretty badass. So no details yet on the specifics of the return of Ozfest in North America next year, but I cannot wait for that. All right, some shows have gotten announced since, why didn't this, oh, here it is over here. Some shows have gotten announced since we were here last. The Gorillaz went on sale on Friday. They're going to be at the TD Garden on October 1st. All of these shows, and I'm going to go through them quick because I don't want to keep you too late tonight. All of the shows, links to get tickets, everything on the concert calendar. But coming up at the DCU, Bring Me the Horizon, Journey. There's the Silver Scream Con 5 that's headed to the DCU in October. Big Night Live has got Our Lady Peace and the Verve Pipe later this month. The Xfinity Center has got the Crows and Evanescence and Sammy Hagar and Hardy and Godsmack, STP and Dorothy, Train, Chicago and Styx, Five Finger Death Punch, Motley Crue, Tesla and Extreme, Avenged Sevenfold and Good Charlotte, Leonard Skinner and Foreigner, Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson, Stained and Seether. That's with Hinder and Hoobastank, by the way. 3 Days Grace is going to be at the Mohegan on Saturday night. Cheap Trick's going to be at Foxwoods. Pussifer's headed to the Wang. Lamb of God, who's releasing their new album on Friday, is going out on the road. They'll be at Mohegan in April. Post Malone and Jelly Roll in Hartford. Motionless in White. Shinedown at Mohegan and at the SNHU Arena. Labyrinth. Bush at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Rush at the Mohegan Sun Arena. Bush is going to be at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway, which we'll talk about in a minute. Leader Bank Pavilion in Boston, they just announced the Fray and Dashboard Confessional. OAR John Fogerty is going to the Leader Bank Pavilion. Toto and Christopher Cross, Yellow Card, Claypool's Gold, Youngblood, Triumph, 2 shows. Satch Vai, speaking of Steve Vai, is going to be there in May. Fenway, we're finally starting to get Fenway announcements. Mumford & Sons is going to be there on June 22nd. Palladium in Worcester has got Lacuna Coil coming. Also, Des Rocks, Clutch and Corrosion of Conformity, 0936, Slaughter to Prevail, Magnolia Park, Black Veil Brides, Wage War, Kitty. There are lots of great shows. All of them are on the concert calendar. Roadrunner just announced Killswitch Engage, Poppy, and Social D going on tour this fall because of that new album that they've got coming out there first in 15 years. Travis says, wanted to share a win last Sunday. I went to Columbus, Ohio to compete in weightlifting 4.5 years ago. I couldn't walk because of the quadricep rupture. Sunday, I swept silver and a New England record in clean and jerk lift in my age and my group and my weight class. You all were here the whole way. Travis, that's freaking badass. How amazing is that? We've all had to come back from injury. I know how hard it can be. If it's not my shoulders, recovering from my motorcycle accident, like when you get injured or you get really sick and you have to climb back from that, it can be extremely emotionally difficult. Sometimes the emotional part is more difficult than the physical part. And so, Travis, I know that you spent a lot of time here in the war room with us because you were laid up and you were bummed out and you were sad because you were so immobile. And all this time later, you stuck with it. You kept training. You did the right thing and you healed. Dude, silver medal. Come on, man. That's shadow box material. That's freaking awesome. Let's see. Donna says, congratulations. Christine on YouTube. What's up, Christine? I heard Steve Perry was not singing. He is not touring with Journey. There were some rumors that he was going to go out with Journey. Then he was very quick to come out and go, no, that's not happening. I'm not going out with Journey. I appreciate that people would love to see it, but he's moving on and doing other things. So no, Steve Perry is not going out with Journey at all. Ralph says, I bought a new Pearl 10-piece drum set, Zildjian cymbals to make my neighbors love me even more. That's good gear. That is good gear. Have you heard anything about All That Remains? Well, what kind of info are you looking for exactly? Let's see. Heidi says, Travis kicking ass and taking names. What a warrior. Emotions suck. Okay, so that's at the MGM Music Hall at Fenway. Bush, Lamb of God, Bill Murray, Jimmy Eat World, Black Label. The Dropkicks are getting ready to take over. Oh, guys, by the way, the Sabaton show that was supposed to happen this week, Sabaton postponed their entire tour. It is rescheduled for December 1st. That's Sabaton with Pop Evil. So if you had tickets for this show, it is now for this show. So it's been officially rescheduled. And if you don't have tickets yet, they did put some tickets up on sale. The House of Blues have got the Dropkicks on St. Patrick's Day, the Hives, Guar, Alter Bridge, Filter, and Tim Montana. The Toadies and Local H, May 20th. Yes, the Toadies are back. David Lee Roth, Wolfmother, Tomahawk. That's Mike Patton from Faith No More's band Tomahawk, and Keanu Reeves' band Dogstar. Not only announced they have a new record coming out, but they're also going on tour, and they're going to be at the House of Blues on August 16th. I think the restraining order should be expired by then, so I'll be allowed to be around Keanu Reeves again. Paradise Rock Club has got the Circle Jerks on April 9th and 10th. City Winery has got the Nelson Brothers and Stuart Copeland from The Police. Nothing scheduled at the stage at Suffolk Downs yet. I'm still waiting for some of those announcements to come out. Christine on YouTube's, Christine, you missed the Metallica Sphere discussion earlier. I'm trying to get tickets. I'm hoping to get tickets, but we'll see. New releases coming out on Fridays. They come out every Friday. This Friday, it's the Black Crowes, Pound of Feathers. We did not talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That got announced while I was away as well. And the fan voting is happening right now. The Black Crowes got nominated again this year. Iron Maiden got nominated again this year. The Black Crowes not doing so well in the voting. Phil Collins is actually leading the voting. But the new Crowes albums this Friday, Dream Theater's Live in Tokyo 2010, The Phrase, A Light That Waits, Lamb of God's Into Oblivion, Rush releasing the Grace Under Pressure 40th Anniversary Edition box set. These are all coming out this Friday. Mail call. I got my note from Travis about the blanket that he made for me, that he made a special label for all of the blankets that he's made. So I put the label on it. Travis, thank you very much. Carol, those things we talked about a few weeks ago that you made to put a bowl in. So when you microwave stuff, you can hold the bowl because the bowl gets hot. It's kind of like a pot handle thing, but made specifically for your bowl. Do you know how many times I've used those things, Carol? Carol, you need to make those and you need to sell them on Etsy. They are awesome. I can't even tell you, in the last two, especially while I was sick after I got back from Vegas, I was eating soup every day, microwaving soup every day. Those freaking bowl koozie things are unbelievable. You should sell them. People here in the war room need to buy them. How many times have you gone to the microwave because you microwave something in a bowl and you go and you can't touch the bowl? Then you get the paper towels and you do the thing and then you try to put the bowl on the plate because it's too hot. No. It's a cloth thing. You put the bowl in the cloth thing, put it in the microwave, and then you just grab it. It's a pot holder for your bowl, but it's shaped like a bowl. It's amazing, Carol. Let's see. Kim says Bruins won. Carol says, I made those bowl cozies. I know, you need to make more of them and sell them. They are awesome. They're awesome. They're called bowl cozies, says Melissa. Yeah. You need to patent that if you haven't already. They're awesome. I just wait for it to cool, says Lou. Then the soup gets cold, Lou. It's like saying I wait for the pizza to cool down before I bite into it. Who does that? Burn the roof of your mouth like a champion. Travis says, need post link now. Carol, I'm telling you, make them, set up a Venmo, and people just here in the war room can Venmo you money and you can mail them out. You don't even need to box them because they're fabric and you can just fold them and stick them in an envelope. They're awesome. They fit my soup bowl perfectly. Like you came into my house in the middle of the night and measured my bowls and then snuck out undetected. Did you do that? I'm just curious. Yeah. Annie Jones says, love the bowl cozy. See, I'm telling you, they're awesome. So good. So nothing new in the store. We are working on some tank top designs and some stuff for spring, but nothing new since the holidays. But the online Mistress Carrie store is fully stocked. Inventory has been done. So there you go. Backstage pass holders, I'm thinking about maybe a live stream this Sunday night. I will let you know through Patreon. But if you get a Mistress Carrie backstage pass, you get the exclusive live streams, the podcast interview questions, travel blog updates. I take you with me and tell you about good restaurants and places to go and people to see and things to do when you travel. Because when I travel, I take you with me. Early access to event information, exclusive concert ticket giveaways. Right now, backstage pass holders have access to Lamb of God tickets at the MGM Music Hall and also Death Clock and Amon Amarth. So backstage pass holders, if you're a metalhead, it's kind of like heaven for you right now. And a reminder about all of the different places that you can find me online, all of the different apps and places that you can find me, all of the radio station apps and streams to listen to all of the radio shows. And we are now at, and I don't even know if I updated this or not. I don't think I did. So I will drink again. We are now over 5,300 members of the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group on Facebook. So cheers to that. Thank you guys for continuing to share resources for veterans, events, nonprofit organizations. Thank you for answering the questions of loved ones about veterans. Thank you for going to veteran-owned businesses that get promoted there. Thank you to the businesses that are advertising that they're looking to hire veterans. The page is really amazing. And I did post all of the information up on the Mistress Carrie Veterans Rock Group about Military Appreciation Night, the Worcester Railers. It's happening March 20th. Free tickets for active military and veterans. Click the link and fill out the form. Go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But I put the link up in the group. So it's pretty awesome. And on a serious note, we are now seeing war casualties again. And we are now in an uncertain place when it comes to military action in Venezuela, military action in Ecuador, military action in Iran, and all throughout the Middle East. There's a lot going on, and there are going to be new generations of veterans made because of this. There are going to be new Gold Star families that are going to be welcomed into the most unenviable club on the planet because of these actions. And also for our veterans that are going to be watching this new generation war, there are going to be veterans that struggle because of that as well. And so groups like this are a place for veterans to go to network. They're a place to share stories. They're a place to share resources. There's a lot of veteran service officers that the VSOs are there to answer questions, to disseminate information, and also just to advertise events, things that they're doing, like sometimes nonprofits and like American Legions do like veterans coffee hours and stuff just to get veterans together in a healthy way, especially trying to do it away from alcohol and just to do it to allow the veteran community to kind of galvanize. So there's a lot going on in the world, and a new generation of veterans is unfortunately on the horizon. And so it's really important for civilians to wrap their arms around the veterans community. And it's also really important for the veterans community and our veterans to stick together. And so that is why I created this group. And now it's over 5,300 members, which is pretty badass. Yes, I will drink because I didn't update the graphic. I'm drinking, Heidi. I'm drinking, Jessica. Damn it. So there you go, guys. Cocktails in the War Room 6 years later. It's the anniversaries on Saturday. I can't believe it. Oh, wait. Carol did not post the link. Louise did. Louise posted a link. Is that Carol's link? I want you guys to get these things from Carol because she made them for me. But yeah, they're awesome. So, all right, guys, backstage pass holders, we'll try and get together this weekend. I'll let you know what's up. Otherwise, a brand new episode of the podcast comes out at midnight with Nuno Betancourt from Extreme. So, congratulations to you guys. we made a family without intending to make a family 6 years ago. We have gone through a lot of shit in the last 6 years. A pandemic, layoffs, financial struggles, health scares, accidents, marriages, divorces, deaths, births, unfortunately now military action. Like 6 years, a lot has happened. And we have found a way to kind of get together once a week to kind of talk through it and to cheer each other on like Travis and celebrate the wins. And also like Keith with his broken fingers, like to wrap, ourselves around people that are struggling right now and kind of make sure that they know they're not alone. So you guys are the bomb, man. You guys are great. I'll be here next Tuesday. The pugs say goodnight because they're asleep. And I'll see you guys later. It's not, oh yeah, it is 9:45. Sorry we're so late, guys. I'm sorry.